草书. Today I have chosen a popular Tang Dynasty poem. This is the 登鹳雀楼, written by the Tang era poet Wang Zhihuan. This is a 20-character poem. Because 草书 is known for interconnected strokes, we will first explain each character separately. 白日依山尽, 白 does not change too much. Just make a turn here. If we write it in 楷书 style, we can tell that the last few strokes have been reduced. 日 has not changed much. 一 has changed quite a lot. You can see the right side has been simplified. Lift, press, pause, pause, turn. We can see how a character can be written with a single stroke, which is why it can be written so quickly. Lift, press again, and it takes shape as a single stroke. Lift, press, turn, turn. Even though you want to write quickly, you do not want it to be illegible. If you are careless, it is easy to write the characters wrong. Do not be presumptuous and simplify the strokes as you wish, because there is a systematic way to edit the strokes. If you choose to simplify as you please, and you will write the characters wrong. 山 has not changed too much. We can write it this way as well. 山 尽 is written this way in 楷书. You can see it is rather complicated. Now we only need to write 点, turn, lift, and press. Return the brush, 横. The top part here takes the place of this part here. This corner turn simplifies and outlines this part. 黄 we will simplify in the same way as before. Lift, keep going this way, go up again, return. This single stroke makes the complete top part here. When you get here, change direction. Turn, lift, pause, 撇, 点. That is Huang in 草书 style. 和 Let's look at how to write this. Actually, this is 3 点 strokes. 可 This part on the right has been simplified. 可 turn. This is an acceptable 可 入 It has not changed much. This is how we write it. Next, we will continue to write 海. This is 海, the sea. In 楷书 style. When this character is simplified, we have these 3 点 strokes. On the right side, when you pass this point, go upwards, turn, lift, press, return. When we are writing with a single stroke, we have to make our turn strokes very clear. In fact, these turns, folds, and press strokes are the main strokes. When we are connecting them, we can lift the brush. If you press the brush as you connect the strokes and lift the brush lightly as you write the stroke, you will not be able to tell which character it is. 流 lift, 点, 点. Simplify this part. 玉 There are many changes here. This part is one full single stroke. 玉 穷 How do we write this one? You can see there are no changes. These 2 strokes do not change. This stroke is the left side. This stroke makes the right side. 欲穷千里目 千 press, lift, press, lift, press. 里 We use this flick to represent the 竖 stroke. This represents the strokes inside. 竖 横 横 write it this way. 目 1, 2千里目 更上一层楼 更 This is for this stroke and includes the entire top part. Now sometimes we want to take these 2 strokes and connect them together. That is fine. Turn, come down. This is 更 上 meaning above. This is a familiar character. We can write it so the 竖 and the 横 strokes are written in a single stroke. E does not really change, but it should be written smoothly. 层. How are we supposed to simplify and write this one? This stroke represents the top portion. This stroke represents this part. 层, 楼. This is how it is written in 楷书. When you write it in 草书, it is simplified significantly. It turns out that it looks similar to the simplified Chinese character we use for 楼. The traditional character looks like this. This is the explanation of how to write each character in the poem. We can link them all together and make a complete piece. When we are done with the final work, we just have to add the inscription. Because there are many interconnected characters in this poem, we should make it on a long scroll. Or we can also write it on a long vertical scroll. I hope you can practice with the help of my demonstration. Thank you, everyone. 行书. Today, I have chosen characters from the Orchid Pavilion essay. We are going to write 天朗气清, meaning the sky is clear and the air is pure. Take a look. This is a covering of a fan. When it was bought, it already had the shape of the fan drawn on. We can plan how we will write the couplet. 天朗气清. Because its shape has a definite roundness, we need to tilt the paper slightly. First, let's write 天. Lang. Straighten the paper a little. Pay attention to the position. This stroke is rather strong. This stroke lifts. Curve upwards. 横. 横. Use a small stroke to connect them. 朗. Okay. I will use this part to continue writing 气 and 清. Look at their positions. Because 行书 is known to be fluid. It also feels smooth as you write. Be careful not to try to speed, only because 行书 can be written faster than 楷书. You still need to pay attention to the quality of the strokes. 朗气清. Okay, now for 清. Let's place it a little higher. Okay, 天朗气清. That is the complete main text of the piece. We still have to write the inscription. We can write it across the bottom. Turn the paper a little bit. We will write the inscription in 行书. That is the complete inscription. We still have a last step, placing the seal. When we place the seal, we can put it here and here. If I wanted to write the inscription really fully, so that it extended out to here, we could place it here instead. As you prepare the seal, place a book under this paper. Because there is not much space, we can only choose one seal. The seal should be chosen to match the size of the main text characters. It should be smaller than the characters we just wrote, so we choose a small seal. Place another seal at the front of the text. In order to place the seal straight, we can tilt the paper slightly. Choose a seal with thin, elegant lines to coordinate with the main text. Okay, this piece is complete. Now we can still use the fan shape to make another piece. Let's write these three characters, 山之春. We are writing on a fan shape and need to do a little planning. 山之春. If you feel your planning is not good, you can first fold the paper to make it easier to figure out on your own. Tilt the paper slightly. Pay attention to the brush. It is really light. Pay attention to the thickness and weight of the strokes. To give it some variety, 之 is in the middle. It should be placed squarely in the center. We will write it lightly. Chun. Chun goes in this corresponding location. Shan Zhi Chun. After we write these characters well, we can consider the inscription. We could put the inscription at the bottom, like last time. Of course, because there is so much space. After we have finished the main text, we can place the inscription here in this location. Maintain the variety. In this spot, we should think about writing a rather intricate inscription. If we write an extended inscription, it might be too burdensome and stand out in front of the main text. Let's write a 穷款 short inscription. That's good. Now for the seal. The seal should be placed on this line with the inscription. Place it here. Pay attention to the curvature as you place the seal. Okay, Shanji Chun is complete. That is today's introduction to and practice of 行书 style calligraphy. See you next time. 楷书. Today I want to show everyone a word that is easy to remember. Everyone during the holidays will often say 圣诞快乐, meaning Merry Christmas. Let's write this one as a 斗方 composition on a square piece of paper. To make it easier to write the characters, we still need to fold the paper into a grid. Fold it in half. Leave a margin. You can see where the characters go. Fold it in half again this way. Since we will need to write an inscription when the text is complete, we need to leave some room at the margin. That's the margin. Since the inscription will certainly be here, we need to leave room to make it easier to write. The folding is complete. Let's start to write the characters. As we write in 楷书 style, although the strokes start slowly, we still need to be attentive to the brush. 圣 Pay attention to the pause and return brush strokes. They should come out very clearly. You should not think that these two strokes can be connected together carelessly. You must take each stroke seriously. Lift, pause, turn. We need to apply pressure for this turn. Press downward. Talking about form, we can say that this is like a shoulder. We have to have shoulders. Pie. Lift, pause, return stroke. Pause, apply pressure, return stroke. This is the final hung stroke, but we still need to write this stroke delicately. We must make the start and end of the stroke clear. 圣 淡 Lift, pause, press. You can see the shoulder revealed here. We have to pay attention to where this stroke is inserted. Put this stroke naturally in between the left and the right. Pause and the na foot. "圣诞快乐 Merry Christmas." Remember to use the middle of the bristles to write. This stroke is written a bit high. Do not place it higher or lower. That would have an influence on the right side margin. You can see the shoulder quality in this turn stroke. Return stroke, 撇. This 撇 stroke is stretched long, but it still needs force. Do not write it too lightly. 点. Return. We will write 乐 in traditional style. I will advise you to first write the central part. After the center is complete, we can write the corresponding parts. Then you can find the direction to bring the pieces into alignment with the top portion. Lastly, add the two sides. If we use this method, it will be easier to find the central axis. If we start writing the left side, the entire character will be oriented to the left. Then there will be no space for these two parts. The whole character will be tilted. So we really need to use this kind of method. First write the middle, then write each of the two sides. For this hung stroke, pay attention to the beginning and end on each side. Don't neglect the middle either. Relatively speaking, it curves upwards as we have discussed before. This is an upward curving hung. This long hung stroke can support the upper portion. Lastly, we can write these two dian strokes in a rather open style. The entire thing seems to have a strong center of gravity that helps it to stand erect. We can see that the two dian strokes above are each handled differently. One of them goes to this side, the other goes toward this side. This gives it a contracted feeling and a concerted feeling. Finally, we write the inscription. Because the characters are rather small, we can write a rather simple inscription. No need to make it complicated. Okay. Lastly, we still have to make it complete by placing the seal. A complete piece needs all three components: the main text, an inscription, and a seal. We can place two stamps in this location. First, my last name, Li. Zheng Yan. As for these two stamps, first place the Yangwen red character stamp at the top, then the Yingwen white character stamp on the bottom. Do not put them too close to each other or it will feel too inhibited. Not too far apart either or below the text. It will look bad. Let's place it here. This is a rather suitable spot. Place the Yingwen white character stamp below. We can see the result is really wonderful. Okay, the second segment is complete. Lastly, let's look at some objects we can hold in our hands. First, after finishing a work of kaishu, we can put it inside a frame. This is our kaishu work. To make it easier, write on red square paper. Then you can cut out some pieces, put them into the frame, and hang it up at home. Isn't it lovely? Secondly, I would like to introduce this calligraphy album. This kind of calligraphy album is something all of us can make by hand. We can use this kind of paper or even scroll paper and fold it like this. After you fold the paper, paste some cover paper, silk, or any fabric you like onto the front and back covers. Lastly, we can cut a small strip of scroll paper, paste it on the front, and write a few words about the content of the album. This is the Heart Sutra that I wrote before. You can make smaller albums as well. Everyone can see this is written on both sides of the paper. 中国书法精神 meaning the spirit of Chinese calligraphy. You can write on the back too. This is a double-sided piece I made. About calligraphy albums, they are relatively simple. And you can certainly use scroll paper. In short, you just have to fold it into a book shape and it will work well. The third type I want to introduce is the handmade book. How are these ancient style books made? First, you cut the paper like this, one sheet at a time. After the paper is all cut, then fold the pieces in half like this. You can write characters on this side and on this side. When you open it, it should be like this. Fold it. This is one page of finished characters written in a grid pattern. I wrote the first page, second page, and continued writing. Write as many pages as you like. When you're done, you will need scissors and awl and a needle and thread. You also need some colored silk to bind the pages together. After it has been cut, take the content you wrote, then apply the silk. On the front and back, use the oil to poke holes in these spots. Because the pages are thick, a needle will not go through, so you have to use the oil to pierce the text block. Then we can use the needle to sew the pages together along the holes we poked with the awl to finish binding the book. After it is bound, we still need to add a label to indicate the author of the book. This is a complete handmade book. How interesting. It is your own calligraphy and your own book. Moreover, it is a book that has Chinese charm. Okay, those are the kind of final products we can make to show our calligraphy. Okay, to summarize, the art of Chinese calligraphy is particular to Chinese characters. Throughout the long process of historical evolution and development, Chinese characters have a practical value of facilitating cultural exchange and dissemination. At the same time, they gradually became a unique art form unto itself. This kind of art form can be said to be China's distinctive field in the fine arts within the system of writing, plus the brush, ink, paper, and inkstone all complement each other to become the extremely charming art form of calligraphy. It also crystallized the wisdom and work of the Chinese people. I firmly believe that Chinese calligraphy is not only the art of the Chinese people, but it's rather an art for the people of the world. As you gain greater understanding, I hope you will have a profound love for calligraphy. Okay, I want to sincerely thank you for your interest in this calligraphy course. I also wish you happiness and progress in your studies.